Hey, it's me fucking again.
You again? Oh my gosh.
Off camera.
It's Caitlin.
Raya. Caitlin.
Hi.
Caitlin.
Caitlin.
Really, all the white people call me Caitlin.
Caitlin.
I said Gayleen when I was getting my yoga membership. She's like, oh, Caitlin. Okay. I did not say that.
Right?
I don't know
Okay.
how you...
No hate against the name Caitlin.
No hate at all.
But her fucking name is Caitlin.
I said that. I wasn't even trying.
She a little Cuban baddie with a Caitlin. There's an accent, okay?
Caitlin. You know what I'm talking about. Can't stand her.
Okay, yeah, I do it.
Who are we talking about? It's basically this owner of this local yoga studio, and she's toxic, right on theme.
That's why you keep going back. You love that toxicity. Huh?
Oh.
I love it. Keep going.
Well,
I got the unlimited membership.
So, our topic is toxic relationships. But not just romantic relationships, platonic relationships, toxic relationships with family, etc. But on our first list, I'd love to talk about romanticization of toxic relationships, which is something that is very popular.
I feel like that's the entertainment industry. They just want to make sure people are entertained, and relationships are complex in general. So I think they do show that pretty well.
I saw this video on YouTube, and this guy, hetero, he's going through a lineup of a blind game. He has to choose one, ask them questions, but he can't see them. But the theme is that they're all toxic, and that's his type. He says, I like toxic women. I like a woman that will
Keep you on your toes.
you know, like that's exactly what he said. Keep you on my toes. And then the things that these women were saying, it's toxic, but they're responding to getting cheated on, to getting lied to, and that brings out the worst in people.
Question here, guys. What's wrong with a nice person? Are you guys bored of a nice girl, or what?
Absolutely not. I value my peace. And coming from someone who's been in plenty...
You don't have the number though.
No specific number, but plenty of toxic relationships due to multiple factors.
I've done some crazy ass shit.
Even recently, I've done some crazy ass shit, but that's because
They deserved it.
And you know what? And that's okay, fuck. Because that's a struggle. On the inside, it's a constant battle of fuck, I'm just feeling my emotions. Like, I'm allowed to act on them. I'm fucking human. And on the other side, I'm like,
No, you want to be peaceful, you want to act as your best self.
but fuck. Yeah.
It's hard when you're in the moment in a relationship. You just don't know how to act.
Relationships, in any relationship, something that's incredibly pertinent is vulnerability. You really open up, you let someone in, you get comfortable, you love them, they love you, they make you feel soft and precious, and then they fucking break that. And it hurts. And that's just one kind of toxicity that I'm talking about. But there's plenty, and it shows up differently in all relationships. One thing I definitely wanted to touch on, because I've seen this romanticized, woman on woman, is toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that and how it presents in relationships?
So it's interesting you say that, because I saw a video today on the side of the masculine woman where she's expressing that she feels like her partner is expecting her to abide by very specific gender norms by representing the masculine person in the relationship. For example, the girlfriend's like, oh, you're gonna walk me home? And she's like, well, who's gonna walk me home? Like, it's on the complete opposite side, but because she's masked, she's expected to do that. Or a friend saying, hey, that guy keeps looking at me, can you say something? The girl's like, he's gonna beat my ass. I don't want to say something, but you think just because I look this way that I have to act this way. And then there's people that act that way too much. I mean, it depends on the dynamic. There's women that want to be taken care of, women that want someone to make decisions for them, want someone to tell them, like, I don't like you wearing this. They like possessiveness. They like those things. I think that's borderline, because those things quickly start changing into strict yes and no.
One person enjoys the chase. Maybe jealousy is hot, right? Okay, that can be a turn on. Don't take it too far. And that's, again, my biased opinion. If you're in a relationship, you guys set your boundaries. You set what feels good for you and feels right. But taking it too far can cause so much unnecessary pain. With lying, or you're trying to make your girlfriend jealous, and you go, you take it up a notch, and then it doesn't sit right with her, and then that becomes your dynamic. It gets really messy when it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I think it's a very two different things, from someone talking to me and Raya noticing and that bothering her a little bit, and that natural jealousy comes up if she sees something. But another thing is me going out of my way to talk to people comfortable knowing that she's going to have a reaction, doing things to get that reaction. I think that's what it gets toxic. Just because you think I think that's selfish.
It's not
it's
right.
Really selfish.
Exactly. Unless you guys had again some unspoken rule or spoken rule that was okay because it didn't actually get right in that.
I feel like it should be a spoken rule though, because those unspoken rules, if you don't ever communicate those things, they get out of control.
Definitely a spoken rule. Communication is essential. Back to toxic masculinity. One thing that really surprised me, besides cheating and lying and all that fun stuff, in many of my relationships, both women and men, they try to tell me what to wear or what not to wear. What's the dynamic in your relationship? Are you guys into that?
I think you should start.
Oh, she's the one. Toxic.
Oh
shit. I know what you mean. It's hard to tell your girl what to wear, not to wear. In my view, Kay can wear whatever the fuck she wants. But I can say some stuff.
What do you say?
Where my girl looks really fucking sexy, and I noticed that. I don't tell her to change her outfit. I just say, baby, you just staying home tonight.
Yeah.
You can go outside.
Go back in bed, girl.
Wear that outfit in bed. But like, that's just me joking around. Like, if you start trying to change your girlfriend and trying to change what she wears, that's just another controlling aspect in a relationship. That's gonna ruin the relationship. That's very toxic. It's gonna make her feel like, oh, she's being told what to do or something. To make the relationship grow, you have to leave your girl be.
What's the term?
You can't tone down that bitch.
If she was like that before you got into a relationship with her, why are you gonna stop her now?
Right.
Exactly.
That's the weirdest part. Like, I see that and now I want to change that.
Alright, maybe I'll get canceled for saying this.
Oh God.
I feel like it's a different version where your girlfriend's wearing these sexy outfits and she's showing it off way too much.
What do you consider way too much?
Yep, tell me.
For example, me and everybody knows you look so fucking sexy in that outfit. You take sexy pictures and you're showing it off to everybody. I feel like, baby, I really just want you to just show me that outfit and not show the whole world. I won't tell you anything about that, but that's just probably gonna be.
Yeah, you will.
Come on, communication.
Maybe I will.
I think she would.
Right?
I think it goes back down to your dynamic with your partner. What makes you uncomfortable? What doesn't make you uncomfortable? What's cool? What's not cool? Especially with things so prominent like social media.
My first girlfriend, it was, you could see my nipples through my shirt. And I just got upset.
Just the fact that the print was showing.
Yeah, it was a white tank. Whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, okay. And that goes back to, of course, sexism.
Sexualizing.
Exactly. Just like gender normative fucking bullshit. So I wasn't a fan of that because it's just my nipples. So something that I realized with one of my partners when I had discussed it with my roommate at the time, partner at the time was a man. He said, well, of course, he doesn't want to deal with the confrontation of like a man or a woman coming up to you and hitting on you. He would just rather you be unapproachable.
And who in a relationship wants to be unapproachable? You want the other person to feel free. Who cares if other people are looking at you? That makes your partner want you even more.
Yeah, and that's what it always came down to. I was always like, okay, other people can look at me, but I'm coming home with you. You know what I mean? Yeah, like I'm not showing them any attention. I can't control their eyes, but you can control your behavior towards me. How you talk to me, how you view me. Just because you dress a little slutty don't make you a slut, and even if you a slut, I'm not judging. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So back to romanticizing. There in Hispanic cultures too, we have that term la tóxica or tóxico.
La tóxica!
Which means the toxic woman or the toxic man. But these characters that keep coming into conversation, it's this constant cycle of immature relationships. I don't even consider them real relationships sometimes because you weren't applying anything to build each other up. You just kept going through the same cycles. And I don't know if it's a rush or the makeup set.
She's
Back in
talking
the
from
loop.
experience.
Are you talking from experience?
I wasn't in my heart, no.
No.
was the lack. No, that was the lack of. But that's toxic too. If you're not into like sleeping with your partner, my experience, it was more of, oh, I have to change. Why am I not doing this? Why is it not coming naturally? But then it's like, oh wait, why don't I? I'm just not into you.
Hard reflection.
That's a hard thing to come to terms with. I don't have these natural feelings because they're just not naturally coming out of me.
Yeah.
I'm not the problem, and you're not the problem either. It's just we're not working together. And then it was a constant loop of fighting, and then she was a bit controlling, didn't want my parents helping me throughout my life, expecting me to just not accept help from them, or shaming me for accepting help
She
from
just
them.
wanted you all to herself.
In a way, and like getting out of that, I realized like, oh, I can see why we moved so fast, but I think it also comes back down onto codependency in relationships, and sometimes binging so much on somebody, not being able to exist on your own. They feel more entitled to have opinions and says on the way you dress or what you do or what you want to do. She would have opinions on cutting my hair or getting more tattoos or getting more piercings or anything that I wanted to do that just wasn't in her alley of what she found attractive. She would discourage, and that is also toxic. Not being able to make your own decisions for yourself and feeling like you have to run them by your partner before you do something. If anything, it should be like a, hey, I want to do this, but not like a, can I do this?
I love that. I love that a realization that came to be once you got out of that relationship.
Yeah. And once I did get out of it, I changed so much because I was finally able to live my own life. Cut my hair, I got more tattoos, I got my piercing.
While you were in that relationship, because I know you were in that relationship for a while, and you were probably stuck in that sort of situation where you were told not to do certain things.
Discouraged, really.
Yeah. What made you feel like you still wanted to try it though?
I think it was everything else. We had a really good friendship. I felt that she would tell me this all the time. Like, I feel like we're just really good friends, but I don't feel like we're
she's
girlfriends.
selling you on the friendship there.
And that was hard to accept, that it might have just been a better off as friends thing because time already went by and 1 year turned into 2 years.
That's what it is.
We were already in that groove, and it's hard to let go of someone completely. I didn't want to accept that, I'm not attracted to you. That's okay, I'm attracted to your personality. But the chemistry, the sexual attention, like that just wasn't there. And I wanted that to be there. But I also have to admit, my toxic side of that, she struggled with image, looking at herself, and it kind of fucked up her confidence. And I feel bad. She kept asking me questions like, is it this, is it that? And I'm like, And yeah, people change over time. She wasn't the same person I met initially. I don't know what it was, but I do know what it was. It wasn't there.
Yeah.
I do feel bad that I kind of stringed that on as long as I did because I know that it wasn't the best for her and her confidence. I feel really shitty about it, actually.
It sounded like you were trying to make it work for
Yeah.
so long.
Yeah.
Until you just couldn't.
That's very brave of you. Girl, my relationship was like 4 years on and off. We get back together. We break up.
We broke up a couple times too.
Yeah, right?
What made you guys keep going back? Is it just because you
I think-
guys been in a relationship for so long that you don't want to?
No, I think it's when it's good, it's great. And then when it's bad, it's horrible. You kind of hold on to those good moments, laughing and going on dates and the fun, lighthearted stuff, not having to think twice about how you're acting. And then the thought of not having that is kind of scary, because you're losing a friend in the process. But it's okay, because I don't like being friends with my exes. I don't think I'd ever be.
That's another topic
No.
we gotta touch on.
So you gotta live, if you gotta let it go, you gotta let it all go. That's okay.
I agree. That's actually something that's prevalent in the LGBTQ community in general, especially fucking here in Fort Lauderdale, where friends will get with friends and exes will get with exes. You're going back with your ex. Yes. Me, I'm guilty of it, like getting back with my ex. So I'm gonna just tell you my cadence of my relationships. We dated for a long time, like 2 years or something, and then we broke up. I ended things with her. I got with another girl. Then stopped that, got back with my ex, stopped that, got back with the other girl again, stopped that, got back with my ex, and then I know.
Switching cars over here? What you doing, girl?
Shit.
Yeah,
hold on.
Psych. Just fucking with
Oh, this brings me back to the topic. Girl that I went back and forth from between my girlfriend and her, she was straight.
The straight love.
The straight.
Girls suck.
I know.
So she was just accepting it.
Eventually she wanted to date me, and I didn't want to date her.
You'd be her first. That's a big deal.
That's like a job. Jobs want people with experience. Girls, you don't want to give them the label as a girlfriend because they don't have any experience.
I mean,
It's experience that nobody wants to hire me.
well, shit. The thing that made it so messy was at first I liked her, but she was straight, right? I mean, she was flirting with me. She kissed me. Like, she was the one who was initiating it. But what I didn't like, she was in the closet. No one knew. School didn't know, even though people would assume. Her family didn't know. So it was all very new to her. But at the same time, I didn't like being hidden.
You got past that already. You already went through your coming out phase.
Exactly. And no hate, of course, towards her.
Take your time, but not
Exactly.
with me.
Exactly. That was my energy, and I felt like it got toxic because I didn't want that. And then one day she just came out, and it was like I didn't want that. At that point, I was already over it, and I wasn't looking for a serious relationship. And she ended up coming out and posting me, and I was just like,
Isn't this what you wanted?
just a little too late. That was like a toxic trait, and it was also mine. I felt like,
Damn, I pulled a straight girl.
but that's not the right way to go about it at all.
Ooh.
Wait, can I just make a disclaimer? RHL, if any of my exes see this, I know
I was toxic as fuck.
Okay.
What made you toxic?
Okay, well, first off, I am bipolar. Something I'm handling, but I've handled it my whole life. So sometimes, this is again specific to me, it's hard to decipher what's real and what's not. Especially when you're in a relationship where you feel safe, you feel vulnerable, and then someone fucks with that. And then I'm like, whoa, this is a 180. What the fuck is happening? And then I don't trust them.
You're on guard.
Exactly. And that leads to toxic behaviors. Because then I'm like, well, what the fuck are they doing? Like, they were lying, so they could be lying about this, and they could be doing that. This specifically goes back to what Kay was saying. Someone is not behaving like a good partner, and that's fucking triggering me. Fuck. But at the same time, it's also up to me to deal with those toxic behaviors that I'm displaying, like going through someone's phone. Hate that shit. I've done it. I'm guilty of doing it.
But you do that because you
I
have
have
suspicions, and then when you do look, you find what you were suspecting.
Exactly.
So it's not the fact that you're going through their phone, it's the fact that you feel inclined to go through their phone.
Yep. But then, and this is where I have to take accountability, I stay with them. That's toxic, right? Because I'm not trusting them. I know I don't trust them. I know that I'm going to be tempted to go through their phone. And trust me, like, I never wanted to do that. Like, I don't want to fucking go through anyone's phone. But it's just that, like, 3 a.m., those dark thoughts of, like, I'm not ever going to do it again because fuck Eric. But those were some toxic things. Fighting, getting nasty. I said some mean things to people. Mean things have been said to me. Those aren't things that I want moving forward, though. Like, those aren't things that I want in my relationships, but I am guilty of it. Yeah,
one thing about me, I would go off with my words. A little poetic.
What do you mean by that? Like,
no, like, I wouldn't. No, I would just get really nasty. But because it's like, oh, how could you do that? You're just so disgusting. I just can't believe you.
No,
like,
but that's...
You're a piece of shit.
Why are you acting like a piece of shit?
Right, why'd you cheat on me?
Exactly. Thank you. So, and Kay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I struggle with. Like, am I fucking toxic? But it's again, yes, we're growing. We're trying to be the best versions of ourselves. We're trying to be peaceful and happy. But motherfuckers are going to be motherfuckers, right? So, like you just said, you're calling someone a piece of shit. I'm guilty of that. Be like, you
Fucking piece of shit. But either one.
I hate saying it because I'm like, I don't actually think that, but right now, like, you got me so fucked up. If I tasted you, you taste like shit. You know, like, you're a piece of shit, and I fucking mean it. That's not the kind of language that I want to use moving forward. We're in our growth journey, but
we are. It's two sides of it. It's the moment, the heat of the moment, the adrenaline, the emotion, what brought you there in the first place too. What happened that made you react this way? I don't think there's a normal couple out there that just starts fighting for no reason. Something always triggers that argument, and it depends on your relationship and the respect you have for each other. I think it's okay to forgive yourself for behaving in certain ways because you're really only reacting. And if it's the first time something like that has happened to you and you don't have any experience to learn from, all you can really do is react in the moment. You can only try so hard to be the bigger person.
Especially if you are so in love with someone and then you figure out that they've hurt you so fucking much. How are you expected to react?
exactly. But again, if you're, I don't know, a fucking good person, you are gonna feel bad about the shit that comes with that pain, how you react.
Yeah.
For me, it's super important to take accountability. Again, I'm fucking human, and you know,
See red.
I'm seeing red.
It's multiplying.
I got you.
Girl, get the fuck out the room.
Humility, girl.
That was not.
I got chills. I see red. Chills.
Red. Bye. Tomato. Always self-reflection. Because once I know myself, nobody can tell me shit. Once I'm comfortable and happy with what I'm doing, it's easier to
Know where you stand.
exactly recognize the behavior that you will put up with or that you won't put up with. A lot of self-reflection.
I feel like toxic relationships start with manipulation. They want to
Yeah.
shape
It's
you
a
so
play on
much.
words.
Whether, and you know what, it's whether they even realize that they are or not. Because
Most people don't realize. They think it's out of love.
everything we talk about is specific because we're biased, but what you just brought up,
I don't want to feel shaped. It's so hard to recognize that toxicity in relationships when you're so blinded by the love. And when you've never had that before, you want to keep it so badly that you want to prove other people wrong, kind of what leads you down the wrong path.
Definitely. Yeah.
absolutely.
Pros and cons of both decisions. I also wanted to talk about not communicating and running away. It's okay to want space after an argument or after realizing something that upsets you. I think the problem comes when you don't receive the respect to have that space honored, and that can trigger other things.
Kate has that experience.
It goes
too.
back to toxic.
Yeah.
If you're trying to get your own space and you have somebody that's not allowing that, well, that's another thing to analyze.
My sister has been in some really strong relationships and she's taught me a lot in relationships. There are some points where she's just going at the dude and they're about to go to dinner. And she's just hammering on him on the things that he's done wrong. It's just banner after banner. And they're in the car right before they're going to dinner. And he's taking so much shit. And the thing that made her realize that he's taking this advice well, he's not running away like I typically would. He's not fighting. He's not being defensive. A lot of people in toxic relationships are defensive. They don't want to take ownership of what they did. Like I always remember this because how cool it was what he did. After all this banner that my sister just gave him in the car before going to dinner, he said, okay, I'm ready to go to dinner. He didn't run away. He didn't say, all right, let's just go back home. Where I typically would say, all right, just drop me the fuck back home.
Yeah, night's over. I'm getting out the car right now.
Ooh, I've done that.
Girl, me too.
I'll walk home. I don't even know where I am. I'll walk.
Guys, I've been that toxic where like they low key driving. I'm like, fuck this shit. I open the door. I was that kind of toxic. Guys. I'm trying.
Yeah, me especially, I would say, no, I don't want to go with this dinner. If you know they're right and you're not being defensive about it, take it how it is and just do whatever you want to do after that. That's such an attractive thing to do, and that just shows your partner that
Receptive.
There's two sides of that coin. I'm going at it and I'm being fucking nasty because I'm hurt, right? It's easy to let a message get lost because of the deliverance. If I'm being nasty, you're not going to want to listen to me. Just kind of slow down. Listen to what your partner is saying. Take away the emotion.
Listen to understand, not to respond.
Exactly. Honestly, I was scared of doing this podcast, if I'm being real, because there's a lot of shame that comes with being in a toxic relationship. Working through it, but ashamed of some of the things I did. I just told you I've opened the door to a moving car to get the fuck out. But I'm trying. I'm really trying.
And you've owned up to everything.
Or maybe you're toxic.
I think my toxic traits came back to not being sure of myself, not having those things firm, allowed for other people to morph me or manipulate me. I didn't prioritize my friendships when I was in that relationship, and I think that's toxic because you're too dependent on this one person and you're binging them. We spent an unhealthy amount of time together, very unhealthy amount of time.
Same.
To the point where I never really had alone time. I don't think I was toxic and doing things out of spite or doing things for a reaction or anything like that. But aside from that, I was very respectful. I always kept them in mind.
I was thinking that Kay is hands down the sweetest fucking no, seriously. You're the sweetest person I know. Best fucking heart on it. My mom was fucking homophobic. She met Kay and she was like, that girl's alright. I know that toxic, as we've said a million times, presents itself very differently, and I know for me it was like screaming matches, like
we're about to get fucking down to the ground.
And for Kay it's like acknowledging how you're really feeling and digging deeper. Me, I was like,
Yo, you fucking bitch.
Those fights led to me screaming and taking her shit out.
Get out!
What? Tell me more.
You were supposed to say this shit beforehand.
Yeah, I had to work my way up to it. I was like,
sweetheart.
no, I did not say I never acted out of feelings. I never said I didn't do that. The cycle of I'm trying, it's so unhealthy if you're having to keep track of how often you're sleeping together. Like that's horrible, you know. And I felt like I had a quota. Keep this girl happy. The cycle of fighting about those same things. And okay, then just leave me then. Then just leave me. Oh, you're gonna leave? Oh, you're really gonna leave? I'm the problem because I'm not being honest with myself or her. There was also other things, Another thing that can present itself. She had a lot of opinions on my family and would talk negatively about my family to me. And I'm an only child. My family is everything to me. We came to America, just us three. I started seeing myself having arguments with my parents that I've never had before, but because I had her in my ear.
You're just gonna allow that? Let them do this?
One time we were at dinner and I wanted to pay for my family's dinner, and she didn't want me to. They have money, they can pay for themselves. Why are you paying for them?
What?
And my parents overheard that shit. So we broke up, and then they told me she did X, Y, and Z that I really didn't appreciate, but I didn't want to get into your relationship. They could see how I was changing. I was starting to argue. I was embodying this rage that I just never really had, you know? In result of not having that alone time, prioritizing my friendships and my family, doing the things for myself, you start acting out of character, or you start losing sight of yourself and who you really are. My advice, no matter what relationship you're in, how happy and in love you are, give yourselves that space. Prioritize your friendships, prioritize your family, make time to be alone. Don't always hold your partner up here and do everything around them. That's not healthy.
I agree. I've never had a relationship as close as you.
You're such love.
As soon as I met Kay, I knew I was going to spend a lot of time with her. And I did. boundaries. I feel that kind of destructed a bit my relationships with other people. As soon as you came into the picture, I was loving you hard. I did not want to let her go. To them, that's kind of toxic in their eyes. I'm not balancing my relationship with them. Not paying attention to them at all. I completely flipped. Lesbians love hard. Once they're in a relationship, they just stay in bed all day. And they just fuck all day.
True.
And you gotta prioritize what you were doing before you got into the relationship. And that space is attractive. You know, you get to see your partner in her prime doing the things that you loved watching her without being in the relationship.
It's important to be able to know how you can come together as partners, but as individuals, you're very different people. You have to be different people. You need to balance it.
I want to add on to that is do not try to control somebody else. Just control what you're doing. That flows into all of the advice that we're giving. You have control over your balance with your friendships, how you react, feeling your emotions, taking that time if need be to step away from a situation, self-reflecting. You can only work on you. I'm pretty happy with the things we went over. I feel like we went really personal.
There's definitely going to be a part 2.
Because we didn't even get down to dirty. We were just scratching the surface.
Talk into our trauma.
No, that's what I was scared of. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to talk about this and that.
Can't dig it back up.
Great job, ladies. We'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next Steve.
Peace out, y'all.